Hey y'all, we're going to do a little bit of a lead lesson today. If you're at the point where you feel like you got chords under control, I recommend that you get a solid feel for playing rhythm and chords first before trying soloing stuff. But now I'm getting a lot of questions from people saying who want to solo and don't quite know what to do or get started with that. So what we're going to do is, first off, just going to run through, this is a blues track in A that I found on YouTube and just burned to a disc. And it's in A, but what we're going to start with is just 4 positions. So we're going to be playing in A, minor pentatonic. So the 4, we're just going to do a run through of a solo just on 4, those 4 notes. And bending them, of course. That kind of stuff, but just those 4. So it's the D string in the 5th and the 7th, and the G string in the 5th and the 7th. So just to show that you can do a solo with just 4 notes, and you can start practicing on that, and then the second time through we'll just add a couple more notes and expand the vocabulary a little bit. But for right now, let's just do those 4 notes, 4 positions anyway, and do a little bit of solo in it. I hope. So that was just those 4, and I mean, yeah, it's a sort of limited solo, but you can do it, and that's the way to start. And at least that's the way I started. That's the way you can start. And so then you have those 4, right? Well, let's just add a few more. So once you get the notes that are okay in that little box, in fact, sometimes when guitarists talk about scales, they talk about them in boxes and getting in and out of the box. But for right now, we're going to stay in the boxes. And this is the minor pentatonic box. So you have these 4. Right, now we're going to expand it up a little bit. On the G string, you're now going to do 5, 7, and 9. Which is the same note as this. Right, that's the same note. Except now you can go up with it and go. So now on the B string, you can do the, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 10, and then on the E string the same ones, 8 and 10. So it's right, those 4 that you started with, then up 2 on the G string, up to 10 or 9, sorry, 9, and then 8 and 10 on the B, and 8 and 10 on the E. Right, so now let's run through it with those notes and expand the palette a little bit. that's playing all those licks and stuff really fast, but it is just those notes. These 4 we started with on the D and G strings in the 5th and 7th fret. Then on the G string you can go up to 9. On the B you do 8 and 10. Same with the E string. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff once you get those, once you know which ones are okay in the box. And again, this is just very simple, elementary kind of stuff. But even though you're playing it fast, it is not a whole lot of notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are the 9 that are in there. And you can bend them. You can even bend the G. So then you can get add a few more this time through. So this time through we're going to have these. And we're going to add in, we're going to add on the A string 7, 5, 3, and then an open A string. So we're just going to add those 3 on the A string. Open, 3, 5, and 7 to these ones that we already have. So a couple of things in that. So now you've got those sort of lower ones. In fact, that if you call that a scale, that's probably a good one to practice. Just run up and down it a few times. And on some of those you can do little licks in between. Like on this G string, if you're doing the 5, 7 on both those strings, you can hit the 8th fret or 6th fret, sorry, 6th on the G string. That's a note that's also, and just hammer on from 5 to 6. And then you can do stuff like this note's okay, the in the box, the G string at the 9th, and then so is we already know the B string at the 8th is okay, so you can play those both at the same time as a double stop, 2 strings. And then you could do double stops on the G and the B in the 5th and the 7th too. That's both those strings at the same time. Alright, so now we have these. Those are the ones we've got so far. And now we're going to add the, I guess this will be the end of it, the E string at the 3rd and the 5th. And with that, you can pretty much play any blues you want, basically. Or at least minor pentatonic. So we'll see, we'll add all those. those are really kind of elementary blues licks, and there's the sort of this I don't know what it is, but if you listen to Jimmy Page play, and Hendrix used it a lot of guys use it, Clapton uses it a lot. This lick that you can do that in any key. But he does that, Jimmy does that a lot, like in Heartbreaker and I Can't Quit You. It's all over the place, and Days of Confused, all over his soloing. But it's another one of those blues licks that you can kind of master. But you take the G, wherever you're going to do it, bend it up 2, basically. So bend that up, then hit the B 2 frets down from it. Again, whatever fret you're in. And then 3 up on the B. And then you get faster and faster with it. And but that's the... It's hard to hit it. I haven't played that lick in a while. But it's hard to hit it cleanly if you don't just sort of get the rhythm of it and work on it a little bit. But that's another one that you can just kind of throw in wherever you're playing to make it sound fast. But try those notes out, and stop this and rewind it a few times and get the notes that are okay. And again, I would recommend the first thing to do if you don't play solos and you just want to learn stuff, find 4 notes that work and do an entire solo just with those 4 frets anyway, because you can bend them so it's more notes technically. But find 4 that work and just work on a solo with those 4. Then find like 2 more that are in that box, and then do a solo with those 4 plus the 2 that you just, the 2 new ones that you just got. Then add 2 more until you can go pretty well up and down. I mean, again, I've kind of limited the box to about this much of the neck, but it really does go all the way up once you expand it further, and you can do them all the way up. But for beginners and starter, just try working on something along those lines, and I think once you get the hang of that, your brain starts to understand what they are. So then eventually you get to the point where you know what they are and you can sing along with it, that kind of, and you can actually know what they're doing because you can sing along with your own solos. So you'll not only know which notes are okay, just sort of graphically on the board, but you'll know in your mind what the notes are actually going to sound like when you do hit them. When you get to the point where you can sing along with your own solo, then you know the fretboard, and you can anticipate where the notes are as you're playing them, or before you're playing them. So good luck with that, and drop me a note if you have any trouble.